At the beginning of the year, the marketplace was talking about pencils down, and I was going, hey, but where's the good news? It can't all be bad. Where's the hope, and who's gonna demonstrate that they have the creativity to see how the market's gonna move forward? We have obstacles, which, by the way, contractors deal with obstacles all the time. We had a massive amount of growth from 19 to 20. And then the supply chain hell and the ripple from COVID occurred, and we slowed down in terms of the amount of revenue that we got through our business, but at the same time, the amount of backlog grew. 2022, we got back to where we were in 2020. In 2023, we're going to end up with a significant amount of growth again. Some of that is because we've diversified. We're continuing to offer different service lines to our clients. We went from industrial finish out to office finish out, medical office finish out, and now we're doing shell construction. We love build-to-suits. We feel like that's kind of the highest and best use for us. That's where we get to build the building and fit the tenant. Up to that point, I referred to accounting and FP&A as cooking all the different flavored chilies in one pot. And so that made it really hard to kind of understand the different variables of the different asset classes that we were building in. We broke the business apart into its FP&As and built P&Ls for each business. So each business had its own accounting and reporting system. You had to reorganize ops teams, had to reorganize pre-construction efforts, business development folks. And one of the really amazing things that happened is the next round of leaders started to present themselves at Gordon Highlander. That growth has allowed us to break the business apart and build it stronger, and then support each part of it better with the right leadership. One of my favorite stories from 2023 is the Neiman Marcus headquarters. Just getting to work with an organization that was having to reinvent themselves through the pressure of COVID. They went through bankruptcy. They were struggling with the remote workplace solution. Seeing how far people were going to go and the investments they were going to make in order to kind of address all the, what I would call kind of the modern pressures on business. Their story, I think, is met with excellence in every part, all the planning, the integration with the architectural team and the contractor, us, and it's just great to be a part of really successful stories. Many of my friends and colleagues know that I took a sabbatical this summer. And so I had this crazy, wild, hairy goal. I wanted to give my sons my time as a graduation present. This idea I had was to captain my own ship and do the inside passage with my boys, Max and Charlie. I'm a college dropout. I went to Alaska and worked on a fishing boat. Part of it was to show them what I did and encourage them. You don't have to do it as difficultly as I did, Go to college. Here's what Alaska looks like, You don't have to buck me and buck school and go on this long adventure up there. We can do them both. And I also wanted to kind of get lost with them, kind of go into the unknown, go into the adventure. It was definitely one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And like most things that I love, it was the greatest. I don't know how to separate those. That's intrinsically weaved into everything that we do. We made it through the Seymour Narrows. There's a famous rock in the Seymour Narrows that I think has taken more boats and killed more lives on the water than any known place. They performed an explosion there, the largest non-nuclear explosion in the world, to remove that rock. The currents in the Seymour Narrows can be as much as 15 knots, and our boat does about 7 knots. And so careful timing around slack tide and slack water, careful evaluation of the winds. And a narrows where the water system comes down really tight, and then it's dealing with that tide moving so much. And so when we got through the adrenaline rush of the Seymour Narrows, we made the turn at Otter Cove to the Johnstone Straits. The tide changed and the wind changed. We were towing our fishing boat, and we saw the roughest seas that we had seen in the Johnstone Strait. We had to make a decision. Our boat that we were towing looked like it was going to get ripped off our boat. I had my father on the boat, who's going to celebrate his 75th birthday tomorrow. I had a responsibility and a decision to make, and all the forces were working against us. And we turned around. We took shelter in Otter Cove. You know, I think the marketplace is gonna experience some of the unexpected things that we experienced. And I just want everyone to know that we're gonna carefully evaluate how to make the best decisions for everyone in all of it. The sacrifices that were made, or the planning, was pretty intense. You know, the business needed to be stitched together better so that it could afford me to be absent from it. I was delighted upon my return to just see it thrive. Growth is a big part of our story, and stitched into that is thinking that we're going to end up in one place and actually ending up in a place that was better than we imagined. There's lots of change in the office market and the way companies are trying to solve the human capital. How and where do people want to work? What's the environment like? How do we do it accretively to their wellness? That's progress. That's really good for the marketplace. But there's challenges. Some buildings are obsolete. Banking world is under a lot of pressure and regulation. How do you get creative and try to figure out how to solve those problems? Leaders are going to have to be creative. We're designed to create. That's kind of the limitless hope that I see for Gordon Highlander and its relationship really with everyone in the marketplace. Our clients are very important to our success, but so are our vendors and our subs. And all of it so carefully stitched together and just done with real thought and care. I think we're just getting started being the best builder ever. And I love the building of people. That's the thing that I'm most encouraged by.